Heidi ho, meatballers and shot callers. It's another Dungeons and Dragons episode. And today I'm going gorilla to talk about the well-designed party. The well-designed party is absolutely essential, so absolutely essential. I really should have done this before the other video, but I didn't, so here we are. Okay, so basically your party consists of characters created by you with stats that determine what they can and cannot do, skills that determine what they can and cannot do, level, experience level, which determines how powerful they are, and class, which determines what sort of an adventurer they are. Basically, the 4 or 5 essential things you have to have for a good functional party. Number 1 is you need players who get along with each other. But number 2, you need to have the same or similar alignment, either mostly good or mostly evil. A well-selected balance of classes, some frontline fighters, some support, some casters, some other specialists. They need to be similar level, and that's really kind of a meta thing. They need to be similar level so that one person doesn't monopolize all of the experience gained, or one person is not so powerful that they don't need anyone else in the party at all. And they need to be compatible races. You wouldn't see elves and orcs working together, just like you wouldn't see, I would guess, dwarves and dragon men working together. You wouldn't see that. That just doesn't happen. Just like you wouldn't see hobbits and kobolds working together, because they're diametrically opposed to each other, usually anyway, to the point that the party just wouldn't work unless the story very specifically calls for it, and then I'm guessing that's specific to a storyline, so I can't really address that. A good example, 3 good examples of balanced parties are fighter, thief, cleric, bard, ranger, mage, paladin, thief, bard, fighter, wuxia, and cleric. Now, wuxia is kind of an obscure class that not every system uses, but what it basically means is you use Asian martial arts or something really similar to it to be an unarmed chopsaki Shaw Brothers type fighter, or type combatant that's like a martial arts movie hero or heroine, for example, would be a wuxia. So casters are any magic user, period. Regardless of type. They need either intelligence or wisdom, sometimes both, and charisma. Tanks, which are the frontline fighters, they bear the heaviest armor and swing the hardest usually. They need strength, constitution, and dexterity. Now, you might think, why would they need dexterity? But some weapons require you to have a specific dexterity to be able to use them correctly. And dexterity is like how flexible gymnastics, flip around the room you are, and as well as other things like how good you are with your hands, and how good you are at walking across tight ropes, and a lot of other things like that too. Ranged non-casters, that is, who, like archers for example, need dexterity, intelligence, and constitution. They need constitution for the hit points. They need intelligence because intelligence is one of those stats that makes everything better. The higher it is, the easier almost everything gets, because it's one of those stats that has a small effect on pretty much every part of what you do. The faith-based classes that there's a few of, cleric and paladin are the most notable ones. They need wisdom and charisma the most. Charisma, it's hard to explain exactly what that is, but it's overall personability, attractiveness, a lot of other things like that. A lot of social tasks are made much easier if you have a high charisma. Now, to the most important part of your character, your background. What happened before turn 1? Do you have any ties to the questions you should be asking yourself to answer are: does my character have any ties to any other party members? Are there any defining events in my past that really heavily influenced my personality, or just anything else, really? Are there any notable tragedies or triumphs in my background or in my recent background? Do I have any already existing fame? Am I dating or married to anyone? Do I have any specific dreams or aspirations? What was my family life like? What's my relationship with my parents like? Do I have a bad relationship or a good relationship with any siblings? Do I have any friendly or unfriendly rivals? Do I have any specific skill I would like to learn, or some specific experience level I would like to reach, or some specific monster I would like to kill, or some specific treasure I would like to find, or some famous location I would like to rediscover? Or there's a lot of questions you should ask yourself when you're designing a character. Background is one of the most essential parts of your character because it determines pretty much everything else about your character. Not every system requires you to have a well written or even a background at all, but I find that just personally, for me, it's easier for me to be your dungeon master if I know some about your background, and it's easier for me to play a character if I know more about their background. I was going to talk about skills, but we're already at 7 minutes, so I'm done. I will talk about skills in another video, however, and it will be soon.